Good morning and welcome to Smell the Coffee on Workers' Day with Diana Master and Ashwin Mbedi, and we are looking forward to taking you through the show with all the exciting and interesting stories that we have in store for you. How are you, Diana?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm fantastic.
How
fantastic.
was the weekend?
Weekend was good. We wrapped up the Tourism Expo.
Yes.
Both of us were there doing
Yes.
our thing. It was lots of good fun. On the Friday, I was facilitating the network sessions, which is really cool to be able to connect the youth and different stakeholders to the folks doing the best they can to push the tourism industry in Namibia. Then, of course, late at night, it was time for celebration time.
Yes, that was my favorite.
Yeah. Carnival
Carnival of
Flames.
Flames,
You know,
wow.
and our former lecturer was part of it,
Sasha?
Sasha.
Yes.
And she was belly dancing. It was a gorgeous performance and a wonderful way to cap up the expo. That was my weekend. How was yours? Aside from that.
Aside from that, my weekend was pretty great, actually. Very relaxed. You know me, I like to relax at home.
Take it easy. Also,
I like
how was
to
your
take it
Saturday?
easy.
I went to a wedding.
You went to a wedding?
And congratulations to Doris and Winner Siskia.
Nice.
Beautiful wedding. Two wonderful people. I love it when good things happen to good people. Was I crying throughout? Yes.
Someone was cutting onions.
I was like from the beginning. You know what I mean? Like before she even walked in, that Elvis Presley song. I can't
help falling in love. Yeah.
The moment I just said, "Was," I was like,
you are gone.
I love love.
Actually, Can't Help Falling in Love. In Crazy Rich Asians, it was like a cover of it.
Oh, right.
And the lady walked down the aisle to that. I was crying.
Right.
I was crying.
Exactly, and that was Crazy Rich Asians.
That was like,
And
I was...
You see, and these were Africans, and even then.
Even then, I mean, love is beautiful. We love to celebrate love. Like
Absolutely.
anything to do with love. I love love.
Yeah. No, love is a beautiful thing,
Quickly,
to say the least.
to say the least. Let me quickly ask you, do you have a walking down the aisle song? Have you thought about that?
Have I thought about a walking down the aisle song?
Yeah, like
Yeah, it's
I know obviously your girlfriend has thought of a song.
I'm sure she has. She has actually, but the one that's been kind of in my head, of course, you know, my little sister sings.
Yes.
And I've always imagined her singing Aruva Rango, which means it's a song called My Flower. It's a Shona song, a classic.
Beautiful.
So that's one I've always thought of. But we'll see how it goes.
That is beautiful.
Before we know, it might come out to Jay-Z.
No. We'll be back with our top stories right after this break.
Welcome to What's Cooking, where culinary passion meets expert insights.
Somebody must really want to cook and want to cook good food.
Immerse yourself in the bustling world of professional kitchens as top chefs create mouthwatering dishes. Join us for in-depth interviews as our host explores the experiences and expertise of our guest chefs. Don't miss out. Tune in to What's Cooking on NTV every Friday at 2100 hours and let the culinary adventure begin.
Now for some freshly brewed news. A woman gives birth on the side of the road after being dumped by a taxi driver that refused to transport her to hospital. The Reaction Unit South Africa members arrived at the site to assist the woman after a passerby arrived at the headquarters at about 4:28 p.m. requesting assistance for the woman who was in the process of delivering her child on a grass verge. Female RUSA administrators proceeded to the woman's location approximately 50 kilometers away and assisted in the delivery of the male child prior to the arrival of medical personnel, RUSA said. According to the passerby, the taxi driver informed the woman that he was not willing to assist her as it would delay him dropping off his load of passengers. The mother and her healthy baby were both transported to hospital for further medical care.
I mean, come on.
You know.
Come on. Like, that's a very, very... I think in society, in general, there are folks that we do not have to discuss when it comes to respect. That is the elderly and pregnant women. And children.
Yes.
A pregnant woman with child.
Like, seriously.
What are you doing? And of course, I mean, it's mean. I think so. And it goes to show how far people have gone from that concept of community, you know what I mean? And if your money was so important, charge extra for the baby, man.
Honestly,
just take her to the hospital. Can you do that? It's like such a terrible thing.
Because now she has to deliver on the side of the road, and labor is not an easy thing.
It's not.
It's crazy. Now you're in pain. You're on the side of the road.
Yikes. Of course, I'm just going to say this. Of course, the child automatically has street cred.
Yeah.
I was born in the streets,
I
and he
hate
was
you for
born
that.
in the streets.
He literally was born
in the streets. But of course, no, that's not a hygienic thing to happen. And of course, it's certainly a miracle that the child was delivered safely, and it would have been better under different circumstances.
It would have been better because, like you're saying, what happened to that concept of humanity? It's literally just driving her to the hospital, dump her at the front gate for all I care.
If it's so hard for you,
know,
just at least make sure that she can deliver a child. Sir, your karma is coming to you, signed, sealed, and delivered.
It's doing press-ups.
It's doing push-ups right
yeah.
now. All right, so we're going to swing over to Zimbabwe. It's about to get a little political, a lot political, because the Zimbabwe court on Friday sentenced an opposition politician to 4 years in prison for inciting public violence over a 2020 protest call he posted on Twitter. Jacob Ngarivuma, leader of small opposition party Transformed Zimbabwe, tweeted a call for nationwide anti-government protests over corruption and the country's catastrophic economic state. He will stay behind bars for 3 years after the court set aside 1 year on condition of good behavior.
So he tweeted this in 2020.
In 2020.
And he's getting arrested in 2023, a few months before the elections.
I am not saying anything, but yes, those are exactly the facts. You know what I mean? And ultimately, it was because of a tweet. And that is concerning, to say the very least. That is very, very concerning when it comes to Zimbabwe's democracy and its approach to it. It's a tweet.
It's a tweet.
And let's say, okay, so his tweet was alleging corruption. Zimbabwe has got more sanctions than you could get pimples as a teenager. Lots and lots of sanctions. So the world is aware that there is corruption. So tick, that's a fact. He was also protesting a catastrophic economic status. There's enough time to Google and check out the worst inflation rates in the world. We can wait. You won't take long. You will find Zimbabwe there. So the man was speaking facts. And in a democracy, I am of the opinion that a person is allowed to be anti-government. That's how it works. Because if you want things to be done a certain way, this is not treason. This is a tweet. This is someone saying he does not like how things are working.
I mean, don't we have freedom of speech?
I believe there is freedom of speech. Yeah, it's disturbing because 4 years, it sets a dangerous precedent because Job Sikala, who is also an opposition leader, has been in prison for 300 days, over 300 days without trial. And it was something similar. They were also actually, not something similar, exactly the same thing, except it was on Twitter. They were also saying that he was inciting violence in a speech. And at some point, someone has to ask, what does democracy look like to ZANU-PF? Because apparently it's very different from what Zimbabweans perceive it to be.
Wow. I mean, I don't know what to... I mean, I know what to make of the whole story. We all know what to make of the whole story.
Of the whole story.
Because, I mean, it means he can't participate in this year's election.
Oh, yes, certainly. Oh, no, he's out. To be fair, he wasn't leading not to be fair, he wasn't leading a party that's particularly popular. Of course, CCC is still the main opposition. But every single voice needs to be heard.
True.
And to stamp down on dissent like this is very worrying. And we certainly hope that the position can be changed. Of course, people will appeal, and we'll see how the appeal process goes.
Keeping with the courts, Ed Sheeran goes to trial in Marvin Gaye copyright battle. Here's what you need to know. Ed Sheeran took the stand for the first time this week to defend against allegations that he copied elements of Marvin Gaye's 1973 hit, Let's Get It On, when producing his own 2014 hit song, Thinking Out Loud. Heirs of Gaye's collaborator and Let's Get It On co-writer Eric Townsend sued Sheeran in 2017, alleging copyright infringement over similarities in the two songs' chord progressions. The trial has been delayed several times since, but as it gets underway in New York District Court, experts are watching for a ruling that could set a new copyright precedent in the entertainment industry. A loss for Sheeran could expand the commonly understood boundaries of music copyright and mean more claims brought against popular artists who have built off existing songs to create something of their own, said Luke McDonough, an assistant professor of law at the London School of Economics and Political Science.
Wow.
Right?
Wow. Yes. I have to say I am shocked. I am surprised and I am absolutely flabbergasted that Ed Sheeran looks good in a suit. I didn't see that coming. I didn't see it coming.
Oh my gosh.
What? That's new. He's the guy with the guitar, with the jeans and stuff. I've never seen him. Okay.
Fun fact, he actually played the guitar in court.
Oh, he played the guitar in court.
He played the guitar
because
in
he was
court.
like, oh, you're saying chord, these are the chords that you see. So over here, I was trying to do this.
Exactly. He's like, no. So actually, what you think is this, but what I'm seeing is this.
Now, I think the Marvin Gaye Foundation, they have sued several people. Marvin Gaye was a prolific musician. It goes without saying he influenced a lot of musicians. But where does one draw the line? Because I believe that art begets art. And sometimes people are inspired and they want to share. The elements of what inspires them is intertwined in how they speak and how they sing and what they communicate. Ultimately, the song will be theirs. But the inspiration has to come from somewhere. And are we always going to try and make people pay for being inspired?
So actually what Ed Sheeran was saying, because there was a time he was sued again a couple of years ago, and he was saying the thing with music is there's only a certain number of chords
especially
that you can
pop
use.
music in particular.
Exactly. Yes. So there's only a certain number of chords that you can use. And so sometimes, even though you're not like, I'm going to copy Marvin Gaye's song, I'm going to use this chord progression, there's only so many that you can use. And then now the court argued, right? I mean,
the Marvin Gaye Foundation.
The Marvin Gaye Foundation. They argued and they said, actually, there's a clip of you at one of your concerts where you easily and smoothly transitioned from thinking out loud to let's get it on.
Oh, we can do that with many songs. No, that actually proves Ed Sheeran's point that there's a certain amount of chords. There's a lot of songs. I promise you can do it today. Go on YouTube and press skip and you will see how seamlessly a lot of songs go into each other.
Yes.
I mean, of course, look, I'm sure this is way more technical.
Yeah.
Never make it
but
out
I
to
mean,
me.
I did listen to the two songs side by side. I watched a lot of YouTube video comparisons of the two songs. I get why they could say it sounds similar, but someone was saying that the one was in a D minor, the other was in an E flat.
You didn't even hear it. It's not like Burna Boy's Last. You know,
We
you can
know.
know Tony Braxton wasn't man enough. And he paid, in fact, Tony Braxton makes 60% of all the royalties that come out of Last because of that. So that was a time where you can see an artist understands what's happening and is intentionally doing it. And that's also why I think if Ed Sheeran wanted to intentionally take from Marvin Gaye, he would have done it the right way.
Yes.
Maybe right now I'm just being convinced by the fact that he looked good in a suit. The man looked good in a suit. We cannot take that away from Ed Sheeran.
Now let's talk about the EPL.
English
of
Premier
course.
League, yeah. Crazy week. It didn't start last night, let's be honest. It started last week when Manchester City asserted their dominance on Arsenal. Look, Arsenal was by far the only team that was even close to competing with Manchester City. And we're not even talking about a match in experience. Arsenal's coach, this is his very first job. Number one, Pep Guardiola has won multiple championships. The sheer budget that Manchester City had, Arsenal hasn't spent in 10 years, for example. So it was an overmatch. Manchester City did what was expected of them, which actually made me kind of start bringing credit to Arsenal because I think Manchester City was supposed to be well and above favourites throughout the season. And I heard in the first 10 games, Arsenal's going to fall. In the first 20 games, Arsenal's going to fall. 40 games. It took 70 games, and not another team could even try to do that to arguably the best team in the world right now. So Manchester City is at the top of the English Premier League. It is a tough pill to swallow for Arsenal, but Arsenal knew it. I don't think Arsenal started blowing it during the Man City game. I think Arsenal was supposed to put Southampton away. So those were some of the mistakes that Arsenal made. Of course, without Saliba, who is definitely the best defender in the league, without him, it makes the task even more difficult.
I mean, let's also talk about VAR. There have been many instances.
And how many times was Arsenal caught in that way?
They were victims of the VAR.
Several times. There are still games left in the season. Of course, as Arsenal fans, this is where we shine. Everybody knows that we are used to being faithful in spite of the disappointment ahead. That's how we roll. But kudos, I can't even say kudos to Man City, because at some point it's starting to get worrying, because I think with the Premier League is turning into everything we dislike about other leagues. We don't like the Spanish Premier League, the Spanish league, because we don't, La Liga, sorry, because we feel like there's no competition. We know who's going to win. We do not like the German Bundesliga for exactly the same. You see what I'm saying? Because we know the same people. Of course, in Italy, things are getting shook up a little bit right now. But kudos to Man City for taking it. Somebody had to do it. Taking it thus far, I still think, Man City might be able to drop points. I wouldn't bank on it.
They might be able to, because you see, as we've seen with Manchester City a lot of the times, right? They tend to, I don't want to say relax, but they do.
Yeah.
They underestimate the smaller teams, and right then is when the smaller teams attack, and then they drop points.
Especially when you're playing a team that's facing relegation. You're telling people that you might not be able to afford your mortgage next year.
Yes, exactly.
You will get a whole different kind of football.
And those relegation teams are a pain.
Ask us about Southampton.
Are
we not top of the league? Did Southampton not come through playing like Real Madrid all of a sudden? So it's wonderful to see. Of course, we have to give credit to Liverpool. Liverpool is now 5th in the league.
I know, that happened.
Worrying times for Manchester United. I don't believe Manchester. Remember, I told you when we did our predictions that I knew Manchester would fall from 3rd. And it wasn't a thing where I think it's a rubbish team. No, it's just because I think it's a terrible team. And the reason, a terrible team is not a rubbish team. A terrible team is redeemable. But the problem is the redeeming factors are something that you can only correct in the off-season. Players have to go. The coach has to change his attitude. Eric Ten Hag makes so many excuses. I saw him throw his players under the bus last week. You're saying they just gave up and that kind of thing. And I feel like Mikel Arteta could have done the same thing. And many times Klopp could have been able to do the same thing. So they just need to polish up a couple of things. I don't think that they'll fully be able to stave off Liverpool. We'll see how it goes.
But like you said, it's not over until it's over. So we're going to definitely be keeping an eye out to see, is Manchester City going to win the league? Is Arsenal going to win the league? Is Manchester going to finish in 3rd or
5th?
Third. All right, now after the break, the SPCA had an Adopt a Dog campaign at the Expo and Glenora fell in love. We'll see how the adoption process works right after this break.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master. Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
I'm sitting with Christine from the SPCA, who's going to tell us a little bit about how we can go about in adopting a dog. I'm looking to adopt a dog, and it's a family household. So what are the processes that I need to go through for me to get a dog? I'm looking at Chipo here.
Yeah, so the adoption process is quite easy. So once you've come to visit the SPCA or visit our website and you see a dog that you like, then you can come and meet the dog and also fill in the application form. Once the application has been filled in, then we from our side do a few house checks and vet checks and just see, what kind of client you are and what kind of pet owner you are. And then we also require that the whole family that lives in the house also come and meet the potential dog, just to make sure everyone is on board, because it is a family effort.
Yes.
Even though it might be a specific person's dog, there's always some part for the whole family to play in it.
Yeah.
And then once all the checks have been completed and the process has been approved, then we spay or neuter the dog and give it a microchip, make sure its vaccinations and deworming is up to date, and then they go home.
We can come pick him up.
Then we pick him up.
So technically, we had a French bulldog, but we were just babysitting for a couple of months, and then now he has to go back, and we're like, we should probably get our own baby. Why is it better to adopt rather than buy? Because a lot of people were encouraging, let's say you can go buy a dog, but it didn't feel right with us. It didn't sit right with us.
So there's so many dogs that are looking for new homes that, that for some reason came to SPCA, either they were lost or the owners are moving away. And they're really lovely dogs, like you see these ones here, that a lot of them are already older, so they don't need to be puppy trained and go through all the puppy phases. So adopting an older dog is also beneficial because they're a little bit easier, just to settle into the family. Puppies are also amazing. They are easier to settle in with cats and things like that because they don't really know much else. But breeding is good if you need a specific dog for a specific purpose. But there are so many lovely rescue dogs that just also need a second chance and a second home. that that they can also have a happy life.
Yes, I totally agree with that. And for me, I think we also need to look at, so when we're coming to adopt, do we look at what dog would be compatible with us as well as a family? Because for instance, we have a 5-year-old at home who's very energetic, and she needs somebody that she can play with the whole day. So are those things that you take into consideration when we're coming for adoptions?
Yes, so you usually have an adoption counselor that works with the clients, and we know the dogs. So immediately, if you give us, some background of your family, we can generally suggest a dog that we say, you know what, this dog is better with children, this dog is better with cats, this dog is not good with cats. So then we also try and help people to make the right decision, because it's a lifelong commitment. So we do from our side, knowing the dogs and their temperaments and their characters, we try and match them with the clients as well.
Okay. So after we adopt the dog, and you guys, you have made out the clearance check, right?
Yes.
We need to be clear to adopt
Yes.
the dog. Is there a follow-up? What is the process after having the dog?
Yes. So after the dog, we try and do follow-up phone calls. So we'll phone you like a week later, a month later, and then a year later, just to find out how is the dog settling in. Because the older dogs take a week or two just to settle in the new environment, the new friends, and so on. And then as the process goes on, we, after a month, we can see, okay, is there problems? We can help you guys, whether it be behavioral, to give advice as well. The puppies that do go out, we give them a training voucher, so they have a three visit at the puppy school, so they can kind of start puppy school with their puppies as well. And so then we do the follow-up, but there's always room for the clients then to phone back if there's any problems, if they need advice after adopting.
Well, I'm just now hearing about the puppy school. Can you explain to us a little bit about this?
Yeah, so the dog clubs in Windhoek Dog Club and Auckland Dog Club, they have puppy schools and various different kind of puppy training and dog training as well. And the dog school in Avis has partnered up with SPCA, so they let us give our clients a 3-time voucher to take a new puppy, just for a little bit of socialization and initial obedience training. Then the client can choose to either commit to the club and stay longer and do more training, or they can take what they've learned and train their puppy at home then.
Oh, I see. Okay, but that's really, really informative. And these are things that we don't know.
Yes, yes.
And I'm looking to own a dog, and I didn't even know about puppy training.
Yeah, so there's a lot of dog schools and dog training around in Windhoek as well.
And the SPCA does provide a hub for us to get all this information for first-time dog owners or just people who just want to get to know better about what's there in terms of dog care. In Windhoek.
Yes, so they can always phone us as well for advice. We can direct them to a veterinary clinic or to a dog school or something if they need advice or better help with their dogs.
I see. Any final words before I let you go? I'm quite excited. I want to go play with the dogs before I let you go.
Yeah. So we also have a volunteer program. So people that are interested to volunteer, whether it be weekly on a Saturday or even during the week, can contact SPCA and just find out when our orientation is and how they can get involved.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Do stay tuned for more Smell the Coffee after the break.
Now, when you hear the names Mafiki, Zolo, Musa Keys, and Black Motion, you can expect to add top cherry to that list when she performed alongside them at the 2023 Vic Falls Carnival main stage representing Namibia last night. Have a look.
DJ, let's go.
Thank you very much for joining us.
On Smell the Coffee on Monday, the 1st of May. It's a beautiful new month, and we look forward to more amazing things. I mean, I'm looking forward to what the month has in store.
Absolutely.
For me.
27 May, Dievos Fantastis featuring Joe Black. That's going to be lots and lots of fun. And do enjoy the rest of your week. It's Workers' Day, so it's the one day we expect you not to work. Let us do all the work as you continue to smell the coffee.
On that note, it's all our love, all our light, and adios.